listening to Travel Agent Chatter, Volume 29. Travel Agent Chatter is an audio series produced by the team here at Host Agency Reviews each and every quarter. Me oh my, as always, our guests on TAC never cease to amaze me. Today's guest is a former professional fundraiser who put those skills to work and went from travel being a part time job in 2017 to full time in June of 2019. But here's the thing to know: even with $2.5 million in sales, that's not the metric that our guest watches. This travel agent has niched down into groups, both destination weddings and celebration groups, and they have a minimum of 10 rooms and an average spend of $500 to $1,000 per guest per day. Now, the metric that she does watch is the steady income stream that comes from her group booking fee of $5,000 per group and the 18 clients that are in her VIP club, where there is a $6,500 a year annual retainer that has a minimum annual travel spend of $50,000. And that does not include air spend. For today's guest, commission is just icing on the cake. And she is a study in crafting the business of your dreams by thinking about what you want out of life and then reverse engineering your business to fit the lifestyle that you want. She only books one destination wedding a month. She takes most of Friday off and then focuses on self care. She lays out very clearly which clients she wants to work with, which ones she doesn't, and sticks to it. And December, forget about it. She and her team take the entire month of December off. So come along for an inspirational journey with a travel advisor who isn't afraid to do things differently, and by doing so has found the work-life balance that others dream of and a steady income stream that no pandemic or natural disaster can wreak havoc on. Without further ado, let's get on to the show. Howdy, y'all. This is Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews, coming at you from Texas, where I am in my final weeks of snowboarding before heading back to grand old Minnesota, where it's nice and cold. As always, for today, we have a ton of information and tips for you to help you build an agency that works specifically for you and your lifestyle. And today we have Courtney Nichols. She's the founder of Travel Bash, and you are about to get hit with some really new ways of thinking about your agency, both in what you do and how you do it. Now, she took about her first solo trip when she was 10 years old and has not stopped since. You're going to hear about how content marketing has been central to the success of her company. And whether it's through her blog or through her sales copy on her site, Courtney has really thought it all through, and we'll talk about that. And she'll also share her hiring process and how her vetting process has led to great fits who really stick with the company, and why she doesn't mess around with Wedding Wire and the Knot, even though she specializes in destination weddings, and how her booking process sets her and her clients up for success. And we are also going to find out about her secret as to how she has 17, as of now, podcast interviews, soon to be 18, and then 13 mentions of her company, including from the Oprah Magazine and Southern Living. And that, my friends, is just scratching the surface today. A quick note before we jump in. So, our annual survey that we do at HAR is coming up in just a few weeks. It opens every year. It opens up on April 15th, right after taxes come in and are finished. And we want you to join the fun. So you can head over to har.news/survey to sign up for reminders and get for more information. We'll also put that link in the show notes. Now, some of you may be asking, why should I take a survey? And if you're asking, you're very much like me, because I would be a person that's like, why would I take this survey? And here's why it's beneficial for you to take our survey. You get one of the free reports when they are published in the fall. They are 70 pages, chock full of information on industry data that you can use to build a better business, to benchmark your agency, to get different ideas, and to get a better feel for the industry as a whole. So, about 5 minutes of your time, and then you get an in depth report worth a couple $100. So it's not too shabby. All right, links and resources for today's show. Anything we talk about can be found in the show notes, which you can find by going to hostagencyreviews.com/TAC and clicking on episode 29. And here's our map for today's call. We're going to be covering a variety of topics in each segment, and here's what they are. We'll talk about Courtney's beginnings. We'll then jump into her marketing, operations and fees, her team, some of the wisdom she's learned over the past few years, and then we'll end up with our indispensable segment. And there is a lot to talk about today, and a lot. So let's get started. Courtney, welcome to Travel Agent Chatter.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is such a pleasure to have you on. I really mean we have a lot to talk about today. This is my 29th episode of Travel Agent Chatter. And when I was going through all our notes, and I was like, there are so much, I had to cut stuff, Courtney. And it was
Ah!
hard. It was hard. I was like, I think this is going to be about an hour and a half, but it's all so good. And I'm like, I don't think I can go longer than that. So let's get started.
Okay.
You took your first trip when you were 10 years old, and then every
Yes.
summer after that. So, how in the world were you traveling by yourself as a 10-year-old?
I moved from a small town in Tennessee of 3,600 people to a huge city, St. Louis. That's where I actually say I grew up, born in Tennessee, grew up in St. Louis. And so my dad was like, I'm not driving you down to your grandparents. You got to get on a flight. So that's how it all started. It's like, if you want to see your family, you better find a way to get there. So I was on that first solo flight at 10, going to grandma's house, even connecting, going from St. Louis, connecting Nashville to then the Tri Cities airport. So it wasn't even a direct flight. He was like, "You can do it. You got it." And from there,
Okay,
yeah.
I have this really adorable picture of you in my head. Is there a picture of you? I suppose you're traveling by yourself, so probably not, but is there a
Yeah,
picture of
probably
you like
not.
at 10 at the airport?
There wasn't. I didn't have a cell phone. I don't think people use cell phones then. Like I'm not
Oh,
that old, but I didn't get a cell phone till almost college. Like I was a senior or junior in high school, and I had that Nokia flip phone. So back then, like you didn't just get footage of people doing things.
I know. I just think it would be so cute, like a little
A
backpack
little.
I'm picturing,
Well,
a
I was
little
the same
luggage.
height. I was almost the same height at 10. So like you have
Oh,
this
okay.
tall 6 foot, yeah, skinny little twig. Like who is I probably looked older than 10. So they're like, oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Let her go off by herself, she'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So you've traveled a ton, but there is a difference between liking to travel and planning trip for others, as we all know.
That
So
is
how did you make this switch from you were a professional fundraiser that loves to
great.
travel, and
Yeah.
then you became a travel advisor? How'd that come about?
For those of you who don't know who I am, I always preface or I always talk about my husband, not because he's important like me, but because he's the reason why I got into the travel industry. So I'm a college basketball coach's wife. And so for those of you that know the lifestyle, it's like military, like I've moved now 8 times in 16 years. So when we moved
Mm,
to Florida in 2015, at that time, we had moved 6 times. By the time Florida six, yeah, or seven, yeah, because this we've moved now. I live in Virginia now, so we moved from Florida to Virginia, and that's the eighth move. And so every year I had moved, and contrary to what people believe is just because your husband's the coach, they don't get you a job, they don't really help you with anything. So every year I was finding a new job. The good news was I was good at fundraising. So when you can fundraise that sells, you can always find a job. But I was like, I need to find something that I can do. If he tells me we're moving to Antarctica, this is my baby. This is my own. Like I don't have to worry about anything. And so I had gotten to the point in my career of fundraising, in order to move up, I was going to have to manage a team, or they wanted someone who was going to put roots down or going to stay. You can't build a program or lead. We're at Florida. That's where I used to work, University of Florida. We're in a 53 billion campaign, and my department of two was responsible for $50 million. And I was
wow.
bored, and I was like, I can do this in my sleep, and I've got to find something that my husband comes in here tomorrow and says we're moving here, that it doesn't stop the flow of what I was doing. So at that time, I had my travel advisor. She had talked to me before about you should be a travel advisor, and I'm a millennial, so I'm like, who uses them? Why do I need it? It doesn't make sense. She was like, no, Courtney, you would be great. You have the network. Obviously, I moved, so I know a bunch of different people. I lived overseas. I also had a destination wedding. She was like, I think you would be great. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a stab. I gave myself a year. I'm like, if I in the 1 year don't make this, I'm back to fundraising. There's no way, because I didn't want to give up a job to go work a job that then I wouldn't get paid to do.
Mm,
Yeah, it didn't make sense. So
that
I leaped in. Yeah, that's how.
well, that's amazing. So, after a year, it sounds like it worked out for you because now that was 2017, right?
2017, and I went full time, quit my job, which people say, Courtney, she quit like 3 times and she came back. But June 2018, I'll never forget, a year and a half into my business, I said, sayonara. And yeah.
That's awesome. So we got into the base. We built the base on how you got into travel. Let's move into our next segment, which is the marketing.
Yes.
And I want to start with the core of your business, which is
Yeah.
your website. And I love your website. It's, well, as I told you before, it's fabulous for creepy podcast hosts who want to stalk you. There was a lot of information on there.
Yeah.
So let me throw out some stats for those of you that are tuning in. So 86% of traffic from Courtney's site is organic. And for those that don't know, that means like essentially someone that's typing into search like Google, they might type destination weddings, like timeline or something like that. Then her site is going to pull up in those search results. And she does a fantastic job of SEO. That's also how we run our business here at HAR. And the media kit on Courtney's site states that there's around 100,000, no, not 100,000, 10,000 unique visitors a month. And that's a lot of content that you get from marketing on your blog. So, talk to us about your content marketing strategy. Things like how often do you update and write blogs? Do you hire it out? What are some tips for people that want this to be the core of their business?
So when I started my business, when I still had my day job, the first thing I did, okay, so again, I use my fundraising ties. I fundraised for a program, the Matching Florida Opportunity Scholars. And so they were first generation college students. I was in California going to meet Google about to ask them for money. But while I was there, one of the students that was the recipient of this scholarship, I went and met because we're trying to get these feel good. So like, what are you doing now? Now that you got this money, like you're the CEO of this. So I'm talking to her and her boyfriend at the time. They're actually, I'm going to their wedding in June. He was in content marketing, and not only content marketing, digital marketing strategy, SEO, and
Mm,
all of this. And I didn't have, so before 2017, I did not have social media present. I didn't have a Facebook. I didn't have an Instagram. The only thing I had was the LinkedIn page. So I was off the grid on purpose, and I didn't do any blogging and all of that. So I met, his name is Kevin. He still works with me to this day. He lives out in California. Shout out to Kevin. He was like, we need to focus on creating content. And I'm like, so what does that even mean? He's Courtney. So my focus was on destination weddings. I want to do groups, destination wedding. I'm like, hey, we need to get more bang for your buck. Instead of doing individual trips, I can make this amount of money. So I focused on destination weddings. I was a destination wedding bride. So we literally looked at what questions did I have when I was planning my destination wedding or decided I want to have a destination wedding. So literally, I answered that question. Obviously, I put myself in that seat of what is a destination wedding? Like, how much does it cost? What are all the places you can go? What's an all inclusive? So, literally, all the questions that I actually would search or things that I had coming up, I literally wrote about it. So,
mhm,
naturally, that's how I started. I wrote all my blogs, probably the first 40 blogs on my website, probably until 2019, I wrote every blog, and the whole thing was just like, Courtney, can we do one a week? And then I was consistent. That's another thing, consistency. Then from there,
yep,
I'm like, if I can just do 2 a month. So between, it started off one a week, then it went to 2 a week. And then from there, I started seeing results of people were going, like literally right now, I'm telling you, try it at home. If you Google right now, what is a destination wedding? Travel Bash will come up on the second page. So
mhm,
we can do it right now, but you'll see it. So basically, I utilize content to really share information. So, like, some people are just writing stuff. They're like, oh, I like this hotel, so I'm going to write on this, or I don't like this trip. But no, because you want to write about what people will be searching. And the way you write is how people would be actually looking for it. So, even if you're like, what is an all inclusive? And you talk about, oh, these are beautiful all inclusives here. That's not what nobody's Googling that or nobody's searching that. You want to search
mhm.
what is all inclusive or what are the best all inclusive in Mexico City. What are the best? You have to be very specific and write around those keywords. So that's how Kevin was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And from that day in May of 2017 on up to this day, we've continued and stayed the course. I do not write blogs anymore. I actually hired that out. I've used several different people. I've even went on Lucia and had someone to write blogs, but also because we're very specific in our process and have a template of make sure we do X, Y, and Z. I'm very picky about who writes the blogs for me because the feel, the sound, all the emphasis that we put in it is very important. It's not just writing content about, oh, Courtney just came from this nice hotel in this trip. I'm not looking for that type of content. So I'm very specific. And there's a guide, there's a review process of like how someone needs to write, if that makes sense. So it took me a while to give that up. Not
Yeah, and
only
I think
just
you
because
do where it's things like having bullet points and making sure that there's a lot of paragraphs within there. Is that correct?
correct. Yes, your headings. So when I first started writing blogs, I didn't write for the SEO. I just
Mhm.
wrote, here's the question, and then I need to write the answer. And then went back through and reviewed, okay, these are keywords. This is what I want. Because also you want to know, what do you want to rank for? Are you trying to rank for
Yep.
luxury this? Are you trying to rank for cruise? Are you trying to rank for destination weddings? Are you trying to do, if you only do Africa, are all the different places in Africa, do you want your blog or that page to come up?
Yep.
So that's what you're searching for. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a great way for people to think about it, because again, HAR is very similar. And the reason we do so well in search is because we know the questions people are asking and not able to get the answers to. So putting what makes you a good salesperson and is because the questions that they're answering, you're providing the answers. And this is at the point where they're getting ready to start planning their destination wedding. These are the questions they're asking. And so it's perfect fit.
Exactly. Yeah. And you also want to answer that question in that first paragraph. Don't, I know people have your back in school where your intro and your outro in the middle. No, you want it because now Google has the thing like with when you Google something, the part of the page before you start getting all the results that usually you
Hmm.
see bolded in black because
Oh, yeah,
that
the
question,
snippets.
correct. Those snippet is because it's going to go right to, they're trying to find who has the close to the direct answer that this person is looking for.
Yeah,
Don't do
it's
it with
really,
fluff.
yep, exactly. I had something to say on that and now I forgot. So we're going to move on to your next question. So you have a lot of mentions, as I said, from various magazines and podcasts on your site for social proof. You've gotten a ton of press. Would you mind sharing with other business owners how they can get such an impressive press selection on their
Yeah.
website? What's the secret behind it?
So I think that you have to have a presence. And when I say presence, people are going to also think social media and this big brand. And I didn't have any of that. Like, I'm not big on social media with following. You won't see that I have 24,000 followers, but like in the community, in this industry, like when where I'm writing or I'm connecting with journalists or writers or I'm trying to be visible, I'm going to events, I'm networking, I'm building relationships. That's where my fundraising background came in. So the obvious one that probably most people know is Hero, help a reporter out. When you get that,
Yep.
sign up and actually respond. And you'll be shocked how many people are like, oh, I'm going to use this or here's a clip. Then from there, reach out to local journalists or national, whoever the publication or people you want to be in, and just connect. Maybe share some tips. Or you have to give them the information. So don't expect for them to come to you. Like you have to go to them and say, I have a story. You have to make it very easy for them. Hey, this story, this is a great angle on this. I think this would your readers would love this. Same with podcast, like that type of thing. You have to go to the people, not just wait and think, oh, I'm killing it. I'm doing all the things. Like, why isn't anybody coming after me? Or like, why isn't somebody reaching out to me? Because they might not even know you exist. Like, you have to have the presence, you have to seek it. It has to be one of your goals. And so that's something that right away I'm like, oh, this will be great for me because remember, you're building a business. And when I started off, I'm like, I need to get some credibility. I need to start being known as the thought leader. And I actually went to our local magazine, Gainesville, living in the home of Gainesville. And I said, I don't want any money or anything. Like, would you guys want to do like a travel column? I'll share tips, this and that. And they're like, we would love to. So basically, you're going to write for it. They need the content. They want the copy for their. So then I was a standing like contributor in the local magazine. And from there, then other people see, oh, she can write or her skills are varied to where now we want to call her to do X, Y, Z. We didn't even know that she did that. So it was putting myself out there. I also say like with the presence of building relationships with people, I'll stay in touch with journalists. I'll hit them up. LinkedIn is a great place for that. Staying top of mind, responding, and not like more of if you do this, I'll do that, or just thinking like transactional, but really getting to know them like what their audience is looking for and being a value. That's why I tell people like be of value. Stop asking for stuff. Like
Yep.
share. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the key things you do too, besides like proactively reaching out, because everyone is busy and they're
Mhm.
not keeping up with your life. And but then once you've actually made those connections, you touch base 6 months in and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
just wanted to see like how things are going," or that's another key thing because even if I know that person in my mind, you meet a lot if they're a reporter, they're getting a lot of emails from a lot of
Yeah.
people every day, and so making sure that you're staying top of mind, I think, is also
Yeah.
something you do really well, Courtney.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I'm going to link to in the show notes, Help a Reporter Out or Harrow. So we'll check that out. And you're also a really big believer in email marketing over social media. So what makes you feel that way? Because you have a super active Pinterest page. When I looked at it, I think it was like 60,000 monthly views or something.
Yes. So to me, I'm just gonna say this, people are gonna kill me. I don't even think of Pinterest as social media. Pinterest is a search engine. So I use Pinterest just like Google because I've created so much content. All it is another place where people go to find me. And the difference between Pinterest and other platforms or social media like Meta and all of that is people on Pinterest, if you do your research, it's shown that when people are on Pinterest, they're more apt to buy. People that are on Pinterest, they're ready to buy. On top of that, they reward you for clicking off. Pinterest wants you to share and wants you to go to a website. Instagram wants you to stay on Instagram. Facebook wants you to stay on Facebook. So to me, why wouldn't I utilize a place where I'm killing it in search engine? So it's like your
Hmm.
second Google outside of like YouTube. So I'm killing it in that. I have all this content that I can repurpose and share out. It does, and remember, the people that are on there, they're looking to buy. People on
Hmm.
Instagram are not necessarily looking for buy. So this is what I found about Instagram. Instagram is great to keep your presence up. So then when people go and match who Courtney Nichols says she is, they go to the Instagram, they'll go to the website. Oh, it makes sense. But my clientele don't make buying decisions off of Instagram. Now, what they do is get travel inspiration. So they're like, oh, I just saw this person fly off of a hang leg through such and such. Oh, Courtney, can I do that too? But they're not like, let me go see how they found out how to get on the hang glide. No, it's inspo. It's, ooh, I really need a vacation. But they're not like, ooh, where's this hotel? I gotta, who booked this for them? Nobody's utilizing it for that. Like it's the end place of, and I believe now on Instagram, everybody's selling stuff. So you get
Yeah.
inundated with just being sold to all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
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 And so the reason why I love email is because I know people, it's old school, but it works. Amy
It
Porterfield
works.
is a big believer. When Instagram and Facebook shut down, even when pictures and everything else, and when somebody gives you their email, they want to hear from you. That's how you convert them into like loyal clients. If I can get you on my list and nurture you and create automations through
Hmm.
my email, it is proven. There's research. They are no longer cold. They have said, we want to learn more about you. Share
Yep.
with us. And then you keep it going. You nurture them. When you get on a call, they know more about you than you think they even know. So I'm a firm believer. If you don't have email marketing in your full funnel of strategy, you're leaving money on the table. Like social media is cool and all, and I know people are doing well. But what I've also found is people that do use social media, when they do get hits to their website or consults, they spend more time weeding them out than getting paying clients, if that makes sense. Like the people that
Hmm.
come to them on their Instagram or their Facebook aren't really the clients they want.
Yep. I'll echo a couple things with you because the same thing we see on our site, and we don't even have that. I wouldn't say that active of a Pinterest page, but we get a huge amount of referrals from Pinterest. So I think it's often underrated,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's not as sexy as Instagram or TikTok right now.
that's
But
just right.
I'm gonna link to your Pinterest page and your website so people can check it out. I'll also link to we did an article or a Edge spot during Host Week where someone did one on email marketing in the newsletter because it's a challenge to get it out with regularity. So
Yeah,
she has a system for that. We'll link to that for people that are interested in going the email route, which I would recommend.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
oh
so
no,
I'm not
go ahead.
gonna get off on a tangent because I know
No,
we.
go ahead. Go ahead.
But the thing with email is, it's the same thing that I said with content. It's consistency. No one's expecting like you to send something every day. But also, if they know every Monday, I can't wait to get agent chat. Like there has to be some regularity in the
Hmm.
emails. The same thing with the content. But literally, if you are in business, you have 4 pieces of content you can send, whether it's something that you just put on your blog that goes out to email, a new service offering, or a continuing service offering that you want to promote. On top of that, share what you're doing. Like in my newsletter at the end of the month from the Desk of the CEO, I'm like, oh, I just recorded a podcast. Share with them who you're. It's March Madness. I'm a coach wife. It's been crazy right here. I just did this, I did that. So share with them more about you because
Mhm.
people buy from people they know and trust. So they want
Yep.
to know who you are. They want to know who they're working with. Share what's going on in the industry, travel industry news. Because for instance, right now, coolcations is a thing. So I put on my newsletter last week of, hey, people are going instead of to the beach, they're like, oh, we're done with the beach. We want to do coolcations. And how I found that was is every Monday I go and Google travel industry trends. Google it and then go to news articles. And you'll find what journalists and stuff are writing about, which is another way to get in the publication because now you're like, oh, this is something they're talking about. So let me get on IG Live real quick and do a quick thing because now journalists and outlets are like, she's talking about stuff where we want to interview her because she's probably knows. So
Yep.
it's simple things like that to tie together.
No, those are amazing tips, Courtney. And I would one thing I think people need to think about when they're doing the email newsletters is number 1, commit to something that you can do on a regular basis and that you'll have something to say. Like if you say twice a week, that's really tough to come up with fresh things to say twice a week. That's why we do a once a month newsletter because we know we're going to have good content for people and we're going to be able to push it out and it's a lot easier that way. So let's see. You and I spoke, and you told me that the majority of the clients are people you've never met in your life, which is not a surprise with your content marketing approach. So you get a lot of referrals, but they're not your huge source of leads.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of destination wedding specialists that I speak to, they're really active on the Knot or Wedding Wire, and they have their clients leave their reviews there. But you have your clients leave your reviews on Google. So what's the thought process behind that? And then how do you ask for reviews?
Yeah. So I don't like the Knot or Wedding Wire because one, Wedding Wire makes you pay for stuff. So like people know that they've gotten in trouble like paying for reviews. People think it's fake. It's like TripAdvisor. Like people, oh, I did this and I did that, and really no, you didn't, and you just pay someone for it. Plus, my brides aren't really on Wedding Wire. They're not because they're not having a traditional wedding. Most of the
Mhm.
times, Wedding Wire and the Knot are for people who are having traditional weddings. And again, I guess you could say I'm on there and then I'll get the honeymoons, but I'm not going after the honeymoons. My bread and butter, what I'm going after is the big dollars, destination weddings. So it's untraditional. And so that's a traditional way to find clients. And so I'm thinking out of the box. The reason why I like Google is just like we've talked about probably since I came on is remember Google is your friend. SEO, that's what people are searching. You want it to come up. That's going to come up before. I know they say, oh, Wedding Wire, I'll do this and not. And again, I have a free, I think on the Knot, something from when I first started, like we signed up for all the online directories just so it would come up like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm an actual business, but to pay there and to have reviews there, no, because my people aren't going to see that. So I'm using Google because that's where they're finding me. They're searching for content or they're like, okay, who's Travel Bash? So that is why I utilize Google. And how we get reviews is part of our process of once we send emails out, obviously we want to know how everything went, what we could do better. In 3 words, what would you describe? All of that. We send them a link, but also every client that we get is like a little custom sized postcard that we send as a thank you. So by the time they get to their house, snail mail style, because nobody sends mail anymore with
I
handwritten notes or
love
anything. And I'm still like, I love a handwritten note. We send to every client and their guests. So if they've done a destination celebration, a wedding, whatever it is, when someone gets home, surprise from Travel Magic. We love you guys. Thanks so much. And here's what you can do to help us. Or if we want to create travel magic with you. If you know someone or now maybe you were a guest and you're like, I'm having a 50th birthday. We want to come. Or like, and here, by the way, here's the review. Go online,
Mhm.
Google, and tell us how your experience.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'd really encourage a lot of you to take a look at the show notes and check out the copy on Courtney's site because it's extremely well written. She's very clear on who is a good client for her and who is not. And in marketing, we all know that the message that you want your message to find the clients that you're looking for. Like Courtney spoke about earlier with people on social media, you may be getting a lot of leads, but you're also wasting a lot of time if those aren't your ideal clients. Budget is an important piece of the puzzle, but personality types are as well. And Courtney, you're really straightforward on your site from the everywhere I saw it on the homepage to the frequently asked questions to the contact us for on who is a good fit for Travel Bash and who isn't. So, what are the traits that you're looking for in clients and why?
So it differs between if you're a wedding couple or again, you're planning some type of celebration. But my thing is, fit to me is even more important than budget because you're not going to drive me or my team crazy. I call them PETA,
Yeah.
paying the clients. We are getting rid of it. Like, we're not, this is, people have made it too hard. We're not curing cancer. It's not rocket science. We plan trips. We curate unbelievable experiences. And we want people who don't take themselves so seriously. I'm already type A. I don't want to work with somebody type A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, I'm not trying to like, I could go back to corporate and get screamed at, send email. Like, I didn't sign up for that. So the good thing about owning your own business is I choose who I want to work with. And so I'm very
Hmm.
particular, and I can be because I don't have to work with you. So I think a person that, yes, there's some type of standard of, hey, we operate in such a way because we don't want someone that's just so every plate. Like, we send them an email, they don't get back. We're like, oh my gosh, we've got to rein them in. Some
Yep.
type of organization, but they're not saying, oh, we want the flowers from Egypt over across the coast. Type it like, oh, and where is it? And they're line by line. We don't work with extreme couponers and nickel and dimers, and they're trying to save an extra $50 for this. We're not going to go back and yes, we can price match, but I don't work with clients who are asking for price match. Like,
Hmm.
we're not their travel concierge. That's not, we're not going to appeal to those type of clients, if that makes sense. They know what they want. They pay for what they want. They know we're the expert. They're not going to challenge us on it. That's why they hired us. They
Yep.
value their time. You know what I mean? Like, those are people that we want to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great segue into the inner workings of Travel Bash. So let's move into our next segment, which is going to be about the inner workings, the operations, and the fees that are out there. I want to know about the booking process for your clients. I know that your type A personality is huge on processes and SOPs
Yeah.
or standard
SOP.
operating procedures for those
Yeah.
that don't know. So, once a client submits the form on your site, they check the box that say they understand that you don't work with what is it? Clients. What's on
Domestic.
the check box?
First of all, we do international trips only, exception for Hawaii. So you said that, and you'll be shocked how many people that check that and still, we want to get married in Florida.
Really?
Oh, we have a lot. Steph, the girl on
Oh,
my team, she will tell you like, oh, that means absolutely nothing. Yeah, that it's, you agree that your our trip started at $5,000. They agree that, and they still doesn't mean anything. And then with weddings, we 10 room minimum. It doesn't matter if it's a villa, like 10 bedroom, like we don't work with small group like four friends and we want to go off someplace. Like,
hmm,
it's actually large scale events is what we prefer, or that's what destination celebrations that we specialize in. So
okay.
they check those boxes, they submit it to us, which again, we know that means nothing. Half the time they don't even read, they just check so then they can hit submit.
It's so funny.
Correct. And so then in our CRM system, we'll have someone on my team review. And if they are a fit, they'll be sent my inquiry brochure with a link to schedule a call with me. If they're not a fit, then she'll tell them the reason why, whether it's we only take 11 weddings a month. So
Hmm.
say they want to get married in December. She's unfortunately da 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 da. And we'll refer them out because I have some rock star colleagues out there. And I would tell you, we have a whole Asana board of colleagues that will rock your socks off. So it's not like we're like, oh, you can't work with us. Goodbye. We're like, no, actually, you want to do Disney. Here's such and such. Oh, you want to do this. Oh, here's that. Oh, here's only four. Here, you want to do cruise. We know people. We can hook you up. We just can't work with you, if that makes sense. So they get this. They schedule a call. Now, this is the thing. We do a follow up email because we're like, okay, we sent this. We haven't heard from you. If they haven't scheduled a call, then let's just say they're like, oh, we're ready. They schedule a call. They talk to me. I'm like, I call myself like the sales queen. So my team passes the baton to me. I'm gonna
Hmm.
close it. Now, literally, you can ask anybody on my team. If they get on the phone with me, they're probably gonna become clients. So that's usually not our issue. If we had more of an influx of clients, that would be the one thing I'm like, oh, we need more. But then I'm also like, we don't need that many because we only need 11. Remember, but if they get on this call with me, they're probably going to become clients from
Hmm.
there. But unless I'm like, oh no, it's a no. Because on the call, it's not just about, yeah, we want to work with you, this and that. It's also about they are not a fit, or this is going to be crazy. Some mama's flying through the thing, plus the deck. So I can already see it a mile away. So now they're like, okay, we are going to be a client. So then we onboard them through our CRM. We give them a welcome email with next steps, expectations, office hours, how we'll work. We give them access to our bridal carry-on. It's on the backside of our site where we give them anything they can think about with planning, from food menus, should they do buffet, to plated menu, to food stations, to like how to change your name, to flight reservation. Like we call it a bridal carry-on, like your carry-on bag. And it's literally all the things that are going through their minds, or things that we work with clients on when they're planning their destination wedding, from the things that the resort will ask them for if it's all inclusive, or for things that when we have non all inclusive guests, of how the hotels work different and what the deposits look like. So it's like a resource library. So basically, when they reach out to us, someone on my team is going to like, did you check your carry on? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the information is in there. It's going to do like wedding theme boards, mood boards, and all that. Again, they become a client. We welcome them with the email. They're assigned a client lead. We walk them through our process and what we expect and their homework, and then give them access to information. And then from there, we start the wedding design process. One thing I will say I'm probably different from a lot of my colleagues is in their inquiry process, they get a lot of information from the couple, or not even, let's just say, not just wedding clients, just period clients. Their inquiry brochure or their inquiry questions, see, I can't say that word. Their inquiry questions are more trip related. I don't know if you've noticed that, but a lot of times when you go to travel advisor sites, or when I talk to my colleagues, and some of them are my friends, they're already asking for dates, what's their
Hmm.
favorite dish and all that. I'm like, not on no inquiry. That's a
Yeah,
waste.
yours is really on the website you're talking about. Yours is
Yeah.
really general.
Yeah, because this is the thing. I don't care nothing about your dates. You might not be my client. You know what I mean? You're asking for too much information, like they're already paying. And then what happens is you're getting all the information like, oh yeah, and then you're talking about, I'm thinking about this, and you were talking about this resort in Mexico, and then you give it to them, you don't hear it from them. You done gave them everything they need.
Yep.
Hire me first. Then we'll talk about your trip or your wedding.
Yeah, and I while you were talking, for those that are watching on YouTube, I pulled up the inquiry form that Courtney sends out. We'll also link to that in the show notes if people want to take a look. It just talks about the kind of the pricing, what you do, what's included with that, some testimonials and that sort of information. So we'll link to that. All right. Your largest group so far has been about 100 people, I think, but
Mhm.
most groups fall between 40 to 85 for
Yeah.
your probably
Mhm.
destination weddings. And that's a huge problem and challenge to communicate with that many people. So how do you and your team, how have you solved that problem so you're not getting inundated?
Going back to those SOPs and systems. So literally, I'm an SOP. Like my team, they're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm recording a little video. And on top of that, Courtney, I'm doing my step-by-step process that we all house in the Google Drive. So when I tell you there's an SOP for everything from how we answer the phone, when a credit card's decline, what we say, to someone's inquiring about rooming rates, even though we've sent it. Like literally everything you can think of, we probably have an SOP. How we communicate with external partners, all of that. Literally, our systems and process save a lot of time on the front end that we've already loaded into our system. So we have auto emails that are scheduled out based on their trip date and at different points, whether we have 150 days, 250. Like I advise everyone to not only get a CRM, but a project
Yeah.
manager. And so some people use Trello cards, some people use Asana, I use Asana, some people use ClickUp, Monday, whatever. But I would have a project management tool, especially if you have a team that you guys all collaborate on, because there's different stages of your trips and weddings, booking process, from the pre-planning to planning, booking, to the pre-travel, to the concierge type stuff, to then they're in travel, to when they come home. Break them down in
Hmm.
process and steps. And so that allows us to communicate what needs to be communicated at certain points of the trip. We've also created, I know I create a lot of stuff. I'm just thinking Steph's gonna listen to this and be like, I know, and you're driving me nuts.
No,
So
I love it.
we have an FAQ PDF that we send out on the initial onboarding of the guests. So we don't just onboard our clients, but especially for destination celebrations, there's several moving parts of family and friends. So we give them that FAQ. We also have a link for our website. It's also in our signatures, like frequently asked questions. We try to make sure, because this is the thing, people need to hear things multiple times. It's just
Yeah.
like in your marketing and sales. They used to say 7. I heard now it's like 13. And then I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were like 30 something. I was like, what? But meanwhile, it makes sense because they check that box that they're going to do 5,000 international, and they still say we're going to afford it for 10,000. So what I'm saying is, we try to make it very easy. We have several different checkpoints within the trip process that allows us to communicate the information they need before they actually need it. We try to be proactive on the front end.
So, one quick question. So, with your SOPs, do you do it with video or is it written out?
Oh, girl, yeah. So I say, because I'm the one that's visual, I have to look at stuff. But some people are like, I don't need to look at it. Do you have it somewhere written down? So if you come on my team, you'll have both. And then we link it into our Asana project management tool, and they're all housed on the Google Drive. And then within the trip process, let's just say I died tomorrow and I need you to pick up my trip. Within our trip process, if it says 150 days, do this, inside the template, we have the copy. So you wouldn't even have to think of anything on the spot. Hey, such and such. And then it'll even have the steps of the how to. That's how detailed I am. I haven't always been like that. I know I'm a little bit, I'm glad that my team appreciates it. But now we're at the point of, because I have everything built out, it's like quarterly updates or auditing. So right now we're in an auditing process because we noticed some of our emails in Asana weren't matching what was in our CRM. And we're like, no, we've updated or elevated our copy. So we need to make sure that. So we do that quarterly now. But now we have everything. And we have Loom videos created, and we do a stepped how, like, on how this operates, who needs to be involved. So even on the document, that the steps that you were to do, make sure here are the resources that you need for this. We link to it, and then here are the people that you might need to have sign off on it. So it's not just here's how, but here's all the other information you need to know that goes with this as well.
That's fabulous stuff. So, how long do your quarterly audits take you then?
So how about the one we started? Because I don't want to say we started right in quarter 1 of January. It was like halfway, and literally right before this podcast, we were like, we're almost finished. And it's literally about to be quarter 2 because we have so much. So it's just like our
Yeah.
content. We have so much built out. And so, like, our system is robust. It's just like email. I always try to add. First, you just start with one thing. Oh, we're going to do email. We'll do 3. We'll do 5. Oh, this doesn't really fit us. Let's do this. Let's do that. And so, the more automations, the more systems, also the more services. We added curated trips this year. So, the more things, then that's more that you have to have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think there's a common misconception with SOPs that it's write it once and done. And the thing is that they are constantly morphing, and that's what's challenging about them. Businesses 20 years ago, the SOPs didn't change that much, but now technology changes so quickly, and what you're using might change that the screenshot where you were like, click this button, it's no longer there anymore.
You have to. From when I used to do the job of booking, when, because obviously I was the first person to write the SOP, to then Chelsea on my team. Then she didn't do different. Then when Ashley came, she's like, oh, I think we should do this or cut this out. I'm like, make sure you update it. Like, we've switched people doing it, and there's certain people that like do it this way. We've streamlined. We're also like, at one point we didn't have for our groups, our weddings and groups, like, we want to display like you're invited to such and such, and we would just do email form. Then we're like, no, we're gonna up it. So then we started doing the Canva website, making it nice, and now we have something on the built into our website. You know what I mean? So as things evolved and we start also auditing our client experience, we want to take it up a level. Then we have to do something else.
Exactly. So you started out in the sun and fun space, and then
Yes.
as you're saying, you're elevating the client experience. So now you're more on the destination weddings, celebration groups. And from what I've heard, you've been very strategic through the years when it comes to building your business to make sure it's one that meets your financial goals as well as keeping your life like a lower stress level and that you have this
Mhm.
healthy work life balance. So let's talk about your philosophy about only taking one destination wedding a month, that you're booking one a month and
Correct.
11 total for the year. So what's behind that?
So again, I started in the fun and sun, and it was just like mass market. You get in travel, you're selling the no shade, but like you're selling the all inclusive packages, and then
Yeah,
all
it's the
that.
main
And
market, the
yeah,
mass
and then you
market.
kind of move out and you're elevated. So I say we're a luxury brand, even travel bash. Destination we're not for the brides that are trying to have the $10,000 free wedding in Mexico. We have brides that are spending $60,000, $70,000 in Mexico. Like, matter of fact, we only take the minimum budget just to start working with us is 25K period. So like, we've elevated what type of weddings that we do, and they're not all inclusive. We do all inclusive, but there's some that we don't. The same with group. It is a luxury destination wedding concierge as well as groups. With that
Mhm.
said, um, my whole life balance, because this is the thing. I started my business to create the life I want to live, meaning
Yeah.
I need the flexibility. My husband's college basketball coach, we on the private plane, we go here, we fly here. I'm going to the games. I'm not missing something because I'm tied down. Because if that's the case, I could go back to work. So I was very clear about my intention of why I started my business. It was one, to have the flexibility, then two, to make money. I always tell people that hobbies cost you money, businesses make you money. And so I'm in business and it is to make money. So I had to look at the numbers, which people don't do. And I actually said, this is how much I want to make. Circle it in bold. I went through with my book and I have a whole spreadsheet, Excel. We play with it and change the numbers. I need this amount to get to this amount. So I looked at, okay, what do I offer? Okay, destination weddings. And then I'll do some group trips. And this is outside of my retainer model. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not mass producing. I'm not trying to do 100 million. I need to do 11, one a month that produces this amount of income, and I'm good.
Yep.
Okay, Courtney, what does that look like? One, I have to elevate the service that I'm providing for a specific client, because a specific client that has a destination wedding in South Africa at the Belmont is very different from the client that's getting married at the Ryu or a Carnival Cruise at this. There's nothing wrong. It's different structure for different folks, but what they desire looks different. Or I should say desire. Maybe it might be what they can afford, or like what the expectation of working with someone looks a little different. And so then also I up my price point. So in our industry, it's one of those things that, yeah, now people are charging, but not a lot of people charge fees. And the fees they charge, when I tell them my fee, they're like, what? They pay that? Yes, because I showed them the value. And so I was like, my fee has to go up, because also you got to think, with the level of clients that I'm working with, if my price doesn't go up, I lose credibility. Luxury clients are used to paying. So if I tell them I'm white glove service, this and I help them with X, Y, and Z, and I only charge $500, they're not going to work with me because they're going to think something is wrong. You got to think, the person that is willing to spend that type of money, there's a disconnect.
Yep.
So I knew the market I wanted to get to, so I had to price accordingly. And so, yeah, I said 11 weddings, none in December. People are like, why not in December? One, it's my birthday, and I don't work on my birthday. It's my birthday month. I don't want to deal with no brides, and that's it. And they're like, Courtney, you're spoiled. Yes, I'm an only child. I know it. I'm traveling every birthday that I have. I'm traveling. I don't want to worry about a bride. Even if they're like, but Courtney, you have a team. It doesn't matter. I don't even want to, oh my gosh, how are things
That
are going?
doesn't yeah.
Yeah. And you got to think, with Christmas and all the holiday X, there's no travel in December. And matter of fact, when I first started, I only did 10 weddings because I didn't do a wedding in March because of March Madness. And I'm like, I can't
Oh.
get bogged down, but I've worked through that. And so, yes, we can do a wedding in March now, but December is off limits.
I didn't know the March one, that's hysterical.
Yeah, it used.
Let's see, and you have that so you have this fee for the destination wedding couples, and that's $5,000 for
Correct.
their group, and again, it
Mhm.
has the minimum 10 rooms, minimum wedding spend of 25K,
Right.
and you tell people your guests, it should be 500 to
Yeah,
$1,000
they
per
should
night
expect that
per
a
guest.
night. Yeah, they should
Yep,
expect that. Yeah. So the
yep.
properties that I'm going to work with, are when we're coming up with a contract, it should be in this price range. So if it's not, then they're probably not a great fit for us.
Yep. And so then outside of these destination weddings, you also have the fee for the group clients. That's the same as the destination wedding price, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If it's a
Uh,
destination celebration, it's the same, because it doesn't matter if
okay.
you're not getting married. I'm still playing some with a group of people somewhere.
Mm,
So the workflow and how everything operates is still the same and at the same levels.
yeah. And have you played around with that fee through the years at all?
Yeah. When
Okay.
I first entered the business in 2017, I started off with a fee and it was 500.
Mm-hmm.
2018, 1500.
Mm-hmm.
2019, it was 2000. When I go to 2020, because I had to rebook, I got hit with a lot of weddings, and so out of back. So I ended up having, matter of fact, two weddings in December in 2021 because of that dang COVID. I was up to 20 in 2021. I was up to 2,500.
Okay.
Yeah, and then went to 3,000, and then from 3,000 to five. So
So
every year I've gone up.
Yeah, so this is one of the things. So you oftentimes reverse engineer things. You figure out your goal, you reverse engineer it and go from there. And
Mhm.
right now you have another section of your
Yeah.
business where you have the retainer clients, your VIPs.
Yes.
That's a flat annual fee of 6,500 and they need to have a minimal minimum annual travel spend of 50K. So
Correct.
you've
And
also
that's
put
not
this.
flights. No flights.
Yeah, okay, and not flights. And then you've also put this self-imposed limit of 25 people can be on that, which you're getting pretty close to being. So
Correct.
what this has obviously been pretty successful. What kind of advice do you have for advisors that are looking to do something similar? Because I think for a lot of people mentally, that's a retainer is a difficult thing to
You gotta
jump
start.
into.
So it's the same thing. When I said I was charging a fee, I didn't charge 5,000. I charged 500. But the thing is, if you want to get into retainer model, you have to start. Meaning, it doesn't have to be the 6,500, but you need to start with something. Look at your top. I always say only 20% of your clients are giving you 80% output, anyways. So start
Mhm,
there. Look at those 20% of your clientele who keeps coming back to you year after year, or you've booked 3 or 4 trips. Look at the 3 or 4 trips you booked. How much did you get paid? What was the trip? What was the service? If you're charging a fee, what was the fee for those 3 or 4 trips? If you're
mhm,
not, what could it be? But say if I have a client that's already went on 3 trips and I was charging 500, that's 1,500 right there. So I'm going to go to them and say, hey, John, booked this many trips. Would you like to go ahead and talk with their people? They're not robots. They put their pants on just like you. You spent this amount of money, 1,500 on this year. Let's do a flat 2,500, and you can plan as many trips that you want for the year. And you have me. I'm your personal travel concierge. Think of me like your inner circle, like your accountant, your lawyer, all of that.
mhm,
They're gonna say no. They're already giving you 1,500. What's an extra 1,000? Now you've locked them in. And the one thing about retainer client that shows you they're loyal to you. They're already working with you. You already know them, and you can start curating even better trips because now you know them more. It's not a transactional or they booked this trip with me 1 year and then they came back 2 years later. You know about Maddie. We know about Cedar. We sent gift to Cedar. It's a dog. We know
mhm.
Cedar. And they're like Cedar's birthday. He has an Instagram page and he tagged us because we gave. So you start knowing intimate things about your clients, the dance recital, and again, you have the dog and that mom's 70th birthday coming up, and she really wants to go on this cruise. You know what I mean? Like you can start curating. Oh, my husband only drinks Hendrix gin, not Bombay. Like you start making it even better and throwing them surprise and delights. So go to your people, those 20%, and look at how many trips they're booking and start with there. You got to
Mhm.
start with that. And so my thing is with my retainer model, I found out was during COVID. So I just stepped
Yeah.
into it, to be honest. It wasn't like I was smart or I had this plan of, oh, I'm just going to change and do this. It was like, no, luxury doesn't see a recession. And I had people that were still traveling and I had to learn about charting yachts and private planes and all of that. They didn't know I didn't know that, but I was the solution to the problem and I figured it out. And I said, by the way, because these are people that are already spending money and they're spending big money. So I'm like, why wouldn't you want me as your go-to girl for all your trips? And literally, it's a no-brainer. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I should be charging more than what I charge, to be honest. Really, to
Mhm.
get access to me, it should be 10,000, and I should have 2 ICs under me that are at the level I'm at. For the because you got to think a person who is going to pay somebody what they pay me now, 6,500 to 10,000 is not a big jump. And if you can afford to pay someone that and you're doing this type of travel, it's a drop in the bucket. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody's going to have those clients, but even if you have a family that you do multiple trips for, and maybe they're not spending tons of money, they have still paid you, trusted you to come back multiple times in a year. They can pay an extra whatever to say, hey, there's some VIP. This is our go to client. Here's some extras that go along with it, if that makes sense. It's
Mhm.
an easy concept, to be honest. I don't even understand why more of us have not adopted it because after COVID, if you didn't learn anything, if you didn't charge fees, you should be. And if you charge fees, you realize you should be charging more because you're in the hole. So I'm looking at
Yeah.
how to create a profitable and sustainable business.
Yeah. No matter what life throws at you. How
Exactly.
did you come to the 25 number? That
Oh,
capping it
because
out
I
at
was like,
25?
because you got to think, these people are not your like, I'll talk to you every once in ten years. These
Mhm.
people, high level, like, they're going to be wanting white glove service. The type of service I want to provide And as much as people travel, because you're going to have some, because you got to think for this type of client, it's a drop in the bucket. So they're treating it like a gym membership. Yeah, we hired you and we're only going to go on two. Then you're going to have some that are going to go on 10. Then you're gonna have
Mhm.
some that don't abuse it at four, but they're gonna still plan their domestic travel like in states. They're just gonna use you for international. And so I said 25 has to be the cutoff because I'm not gonna be able to manage more than that. Because you got to think between trips. Let's just say 25 people take 4 trips. Look how many
Yep.
trips and the type of trips they're taking. They're not doing they're traveling. Yeah,
Mhm.
I do have some that might just go to Cabo for this or then fly down to here, but they're also going all over the world. So I also know my limits because remember, this isn't the only thing I do. I'm
Yep.
still the girl in the I'm not in the day to day, but like I'm still running a whole destination wedding
Yep.
group
And doing
travel
the
business.
sales.
I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, you know what I mean? Like, remember, I created this business for flexibility. So what I found is I am at the point of I'm at a crossroads that I keep saying. I think I've been saying for 6 months. So I think people are like, when are you gonna figure it out? I'm working on it, but I'm at the crossroads. If I have one business or a machine, but not making the income that I would like, then I have one business making a lot of the income I would like, but it takes up a lot of time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And remember, when I started my business, it was about flexibility.
Yep. Yeah, let's talk about your team since anyone that owns a business knows you can have an amazing team, but as a business owner, your brain is never off. There's a constant hard drive still running, going on in business. So tell us about your team because you have employee I mix, but it's not the type of independent contractors most people think of in that it's not like someone with their own travel agency in their brand. So tell us more about your team.
Yeah, so I don't hire anyone to sell travel. And when I say sell travel as their own person or their own brand, or again, the traditional IC role of like you're utilizing Travel Bash's numbers to then book your own clientele. Everybody works for Travel Bash, either part time or as an IC. And the IC is basically as a specialist, whether it's digital marketing or it's content, admin, outside of my reservation specialist that actually books the travel and the trip and communicate with vendors. I
Mhm.
utilize them for areas in my business. So if you had a marketing department, you have a marketing. If you have an accounting department, so that's how I utilize them. Like they're all department chairs of
Yep.
Travel Bash Corp, which is very different from people. I don't like the IC model. To be honest, it makes me think of MLMs. To be honest, there's nothing wrong, but it makes me feel spammy that like you use my number and then I get some of your money and then you keep some. I don't know. It's something about it I just can't. I'm like, I don't really like that. You should be paid. If I want you to sell travel, then you need to have a salary. You need to be paid. If I can't do that, then I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me. I just think that with the ICs and recruiting people and doing all of this, like
Mhm.
that's not the business model I want to have. I also don't want to be a big conglomerate where I have all. I don't want to be a host agent and have all these ICs and running rapid and y'all do your own thing. I'm very much boutique because also I'm luxury, so I want to control how the brand is presented to the masses, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
That totally does.
Yeah.
And one of the things you talked about too is you have these specialists, but you have the SOPs, of course,
Yeah.
but you also do cross trainings.
Oh yeah,
People can
everybody on
pick
my
up.
team. And I say that now, and I just parted ways with someone on my team, actually one of my very first hires. But
Mhm.
I cross team because this is the thing. As a business owner, it's dangerous if someone knows something that no one else knows
Mhm.
in your business. I think that's the riskiest thing because you're basically sitting in a chair with three legs. And because if someone dies tomorrow, if someone leaves, if someone runs off, there's a part that only they know how to do, not even you. Because it's the thing, I'm so much out of the day to day. I was literally taking Ashley this morning. Ashley's on my team and she had a root canal or something. And I was asking her about the autoimmune. I was like, did they not go out or something? And she's, oh, they changed the process. I don't know that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not in the day to day. But again, she's already created SOP and all that. But if I was just so hands off and didn't keep updates or knowing what's going on and just let her run, she could be doing anything, to be honest. I'm glad you're not, Ashley. Thank you. But what I'm saying is that's how much I'm out of the business of like day to day. I'm not in the CRM. So I don't know the updates. It was just like when I'm practicing, okay, I got to do this. Welcome on board. I'm up here testing it because I don't do this on a daily. I have a team that does this. I believe in cross training because everybody needs to know how to do everything. And I only hire people who believe that Nothing's bigger than them. If I clean the toilets, you clean the toilets. I know we're virtual. But if I can get on the phone and pick up and talk to a client, you need to be able to. It doesn't matter that you do SEO and this is that. If a client has a concern, you should be able to jump in. So my thing is, I cross train everybody. That doesn't mean that you're going to be doing that role, but you need to know how. You're more
Mhm.
valuable. And also, I believe that in building your team, so people are your biggest investment in your business,
Yeah.
especially when they're not full-time employees, you don't have a lot of benefits and you're starting. But that professional development and stretching them and growing them into individuals and like really flexing your leadership muscle to me is important. Because I think the reason why I've had people stay on my team as long as I have is because first of all, we work hard, play hard. I don't take myself serious, but I'm on my shit. They know that, but also we're gonna have a good time. But I think that I let them flourish. Like when they have ideas, this is not my business. It is my business, but like I give them a
Mhm.
time. If they come up with this idea, they say, "Hey, Courtney, we started this new email stuff. So now we do four emails a week, and we have different strategy points." I'm like, "This is great," da, da, da. And I just let her run with it. She already like Steph on my. I have a Steph too. So the Steph on my team is already. Oh gosh, I'm giving myself more work. When we do our team meeting, we should try this and do that. I'm like, perfect. And she said that means I'm implementing. I'm like, yes.
I
That's how.
know. Yeah, it's definitely we've had our team members do that too, where it's like, "What about this idea?" "Oh, yeah, that means I have to implement it then too, huh?" "Huh?"
Yeah, I'm like, I love it though. Let me know. Send it over when it's done or stuff like. That's how I am. I'm like big on the type of team.
Mhm.
Cultural fit's important. Also, the type of people I hire can roll up their sleeves. Like they're gritty. I like gritty people. Like you don't have to be the most. Like obviously, we're in the travel industry, so people are like, oh, I want them to have a hospitality and tourism background, and they work with travel. I actually don't want you to. Matter of fact, besides Steph, she's the only person that has any travel industry experience at all. I don't
Mhm.
need to. This is the thing. My business just happens to be in the travel industry. I run a business though. So the functions are all the same in any business, if that makes sense. You're
Mhm.
selling, you're
Yep.
getting clients. You don't have to be a travel agency to do that. You know what I mean? Like the functions of what it is you're doing, if you've done it anywhere from real estate to construction, it doesn't change if that makes
Yep.
sense. Yeah. And I
No,
do
it
things
it
against the
totally
way,
does.
yeah, traditional agencies do it anyways. Matter of fact, if you were to come from a travel agency, you probably would be fighting against me because you're like, why don't we do it this way? Or we don't do that. Or I was used to do it because I don't do anything the way that I was taught when I got into the industry. I moved
Well,
away.
one Yeah, one of the biggest challenges for business owner is the hiring process, whether it's an IC or an employee. And you have a really thorough hiring process that you
Oh,
thought through pretty well. So talk to us about that process.
yes. So obviously, yeah, I'm slow to hire, quick to fire because it's an investment and you want somebody that's gonna grow with you. Plus, again, a fit. I'm a type A, I'm an Enneagram 8. I have a strong personality. Like it was so funny. My team told me the other day we were interviewing some girl maybe a year ago, and they were like, she can do the job, but I feel like the minute she makes a mistake, she's gonna cry because you're gonna eat her up. The fact that they know that about me, I'm like, okay, great. She's not hired, but I'm like, guys, I think she'd been okay because she was an athlete in college. She's used to like when you're an athlete,
Yeah.
there's something. I was an athlete. Like you've gotten yelled at and you've gotten gone there. Like, I don't know, Courtney, she's pretty like green. I'm like, okay, cool. We're not scratch it. But basically, hiring process, like I do more than just resume and cover letter because anybody can write anything. It's chat GPT out there. They'll tell me they're a rock star. It means nothing. References mean nothing because no one was going to send you a reference that would be bad. I'm having them answer specific questions. I'm doing a task assessment. I even have them do a strength finders test. Like I have steps and processes, but I also see, I'm going to give y'all another tip. Tatiana O'Hara. If you don't know who she is, look her up or we can link probably to the Tatiana O'Hara. She does teams, operations. She's a
Mhm.
mastermind. And for solopreneurs and people that are starting to build a team in different ways, she is a great resource to utilize. I was in one of her first beta groups on hiring, and there were several different models. Like she's worked for all these big companies and then tore down like how they operate and their teams and relations. And she's really taught me a lot. But also, I have
Mhm.
a friend that worked for Microsoft that runs her own talent desk. You know what I mean? So I'm around them. I always say, if it's not me, it's somebody I know. Like I try to be around the people that know what they're doing. It just makes me
Yep.
look good, if that makes sense. So I have streamlined my process and ran that. through them, if that makes sense. Or like I've gotten the valuable or wise information or the tips, and how I've gotten it to the point of where it's at is because of my people, if that makes sense.
It does. So we're going to link to the Enneagram test if people aren't familiar with the Enneagram. It's
Yeah,
like a Myers-Briggs. The Stress Finder test,
yeah,
Tatiana's will link to her website in the
yeah.
show notes. One of the other things you mentioned, but I want you to go more brief or more in depth on is you have them do a task.
Yes.
So
So the reason why I have a task, because again, anybody can say they can do anything on a resume. So,
mhm,
for instance, depending on the role, let's just say it's an admin. I might have a test of this is an inbox. What would you do? Or, for instance, I would say like you're a travel coordinator, and I need you to do a day in the life. Like, what does your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like at 12 o'clock, do the date? And what I'm really trying to find out how detail oriented, because someone could be like, on Monday I started this, I did that. Tuesday I did it, but somebody's at 8 this 9 a.m. That's the girl or the guy I want, the one that's, because remember what business we're in, the attention detail. So I want to see how they process things and how detailed they are, like for the admin and inbox, or like I've done a script of you had an angry client, or there's some a new guest that was looking to book their room for somehow an email didn't go out and they didn't get confirmation that there was room booked or receipt paid. You come into your inbox on Monday. What does that look like? I want them. I want to know, how would you respond?
mhm.
So I'm looking at the responses of, oh, this is in alignment, or oh, I wouldn't say that, or what made them think that way. So it gives you a little, it says not necessarily always skill level. Sometimes with written communication, it's great because you see how people write,
Yep.
obviously, because they could go back and put something. But what I'm saying, for the most part, you get a feel for how they do things, if that makes sense. So I always believe in a task assessment, depending on what it is. If they're a marketing person, why not create a video or send them a Canvas slide up and tell them this so I can see what it would look like? It just depends on what the position is, but I always believe that you need to see something, because every day, like, it's 2024. People go, if they're catfishing people and saying put them on dating apps, there are people that are applying to your jobs that are a 6-year-old grandma sitting at home, but they say they're like a 25-year-old marketing guru that has sold over 50 million. Like, nowadays, you really can't tell from just a resume and a quick 20-minute call with somebody. That's not enough to know when you're really trying to, you got to think people are a big investment. So you need a
Mhm.
little more skin in the game.
Yeah. No, exactly. Especially with the remote team. So
Yeah.
let's move into our next segment because I this is the wisdom segment. So these last what 7 years, what you've accumulated. So I know you do a lot of your continuing education outside of the industry and it's
Mhm.
very entrepreneur and business focused. So what are a few of your go-to resources outside of the industry that really help you run your business better?
So outside the industry, I listen to a lot of podcasts from Marketing Made Simple, anything with Donald Miller, the story brand, I like that. Entrepreneurs on Fire, DLCA. Yeah, is it DLCA? Yes. Several different people. I love Jerisha Hawk, Monty Woodard. Also, I have a mindset coach, Serena Hicks. Also, my other, she does money mindset, Jen Diaz, because a lot of the stuff from outside of the industry, because remember, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner first. I just happen to run a travel agency. And so that's a mindset shift. The fact that I
Mhm.
can charge somebody what I charge them, and how I said on here was like, actually, I should be charging 10. Like, people will probably gasp when they listen, like, what? How is she charging 10,000 to plan a trip? That's a mindset shift, because I know
Yep.
my value, and that's a confidence. So a lot of that you have to get before you run a business. And then when you run a business, that scarcity starts coming out. Our parents and grandparents meant well. They're trying to keep you safe. But like I always tell people now, I'm thriving. I'm not surviving. My grandparents survived so I could thrive. So I
Mhm.
had to get out of some of those things that I was taught for my survival, if that makes sense. So I always believe that if you're not doing something to stretch that mindset or that abundance mindset or that money mindset, also people automatically think, oh, my finances suck, I'm gonna get in business and they're gonna get good. Automatically, you're gonna be a finance guru in your business. If your personal finances are whack, your business finances are gonna be whack.
Exactly.
There's things that you have to get in order. And if you haven't, you'll get exposed as a business owner. So if there's anything financial literacy or mindset or just running a business, a lot of times it's sales, it's marketing. But like a lot of times people focus on marketing, they're only talking about your brand and the logo and the website and messaging. Marketing is more than that. Do you know what a funnel is? Like How are you getting people top of mind? How are you bringing them from the awareness phase to like the light phase, and then okay, getting them on the call, and then once you get on the call, can you close them? Those sales skills. Do you know how to do objective? Like that has nothing to do with travel. That's just you running a business. Anything that you would do, you would need to know that. So I try to surround myself with people that are in those spaces and that are experts in their field within operations and marketing and sales and business and just like entrepreneurs. Because also it can be lonely when you're starting out. You like,
Hear
especially
that,
if you're not,
sister?
yeah, especially if you're not doing things the way it's always been done.
And
You're
you're
looking,
being told that this
yeah,
isn't going to work.
exactly. So you're like, you just want to be around people. I like Michael Hyatt because I was reading his book, Mind Your Mindset. Like you just want to be around people and read things and listen to things that are uplifting and that are going to feed your soul. Which is
Yeah, I'm
what, like, I don't know. Can I go into the business or you want me to wait?
yeah, hold on because I'm gonna Courtney has listed a lot because she
Okay.
is a like natural networker here. I'm gonna link to all of those in there. And the one thing I want to point out before we have you go on again is that I think the inspirational portions are super important, especially for new advisors, because Courtney started in Sun and Fun. She didn't start charging the 55,000 and
Yeah.
6,500. Like it's incremental. And so I think people come in and are like, oh, I'm going to start with this retainer. Like businesses evolve as you grow and mature and learn things. So have that as inspiration. And it's
Yeah.
okay if that's not what you're starting off with. That's your
Yeah.
goal.
And you have to go back. So this is what I always tell people when they're like, "So what is success or what is all this?" I've been on these podcasts. Like my goals might not be the same as your goal. If some
Hmm.
people are just like, "Girl, this is my nail money. I want to get my nails done and I want to be able to take a couple of trips." Some people are like, "I got to retire my husband," and some people are like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna take this many." It goes back to what it is you want. Like, what does success look for you like for you? I'm already successful. I already tell people. I don't have to have another client. Because first of all, I did something that a lot of people don't do, which is start a business. Like I'm successful.
Successful business too.
Yeah. So I say to tell people all the time is I created the life I want to live. I said, I want to do this, and this is how I want to do it. And so that was also one of those affirmations of I can make money in the way I want to make. Like it's not just making money or the business, but like in the way I want to do it.
Mhm.
And so I had
And
to
it's an
believe
it's an important, I think, because I did the same thing with HAR. Like we were just very different in how we approach things, and people weren't quite sure about my approach to it in the beginning. But I think it's when you're first starting out and starting your travel agency, it's really important because as you get busier, it's harder to just totally unplug and be like, what's my vision?
that.
Because
Mhm.
your time is an asset that there's not a lot of anymore. So in the beginning, thinking about what your big dreams are and different ways that you can achieve it so that as your business evolves, you have those already in place on
Yeah.
what your end goal is.
And I do believe for new agents is are like clarity. So here's the one thing that I wish somebody would have. I don't wish somebody would have told me because obviously I probably would need to learn. I'm hard headed, so I probably need to learn it the hard way. Somebody told me I would have been like, "You don't know what you're talking about," because I'm just that person. I'm stubborn. But the one thing I would say is like people don't hire until they actually need to hire. You should hire before you need to hire. And so when
Mhm.
I say new agents, maybe not your first year, but what I'm saying is you need to hire more like quicker than what you think. And the same thing is you need to pay for services that you think that you shouldn't pay for. So I
Mhm.
believe I'm a big, if I want people to buy from me, I have to buy from others. If I don't know something and someone is an expert and they saying they can help me, then I have to pay their fee because I want somebody to pay my fee. Like that's the whole universe and like money flows to you, money flows from you, like back and forth. I see a lot of times people are trying to like bootleg and nickel and dime, and then they're like, why am I not getting the results? Because you're taking clients on Instagram and the DM and then saying like how treat your business like a business if that's what you want. If you're actually in business and you want to have a business, treat it as such. And I
Mhm.
believe that as a new agent, boundaries to new agents I feel like is non-existent because they feel like I just have to do this because I'm trying to get the clients and to me that's a
Really
deadly
difficult.
you're what you're doing is like my husband would say is the best you're practicing bad habits and so you think you're going to show up to the game ready to hit threes but you practice that like when you don't have good practice, you don't play well. You can't have a switch where you practice bad habits and then you think when it's game time that you come ready to play because it's
Mhm.
going to show up.
Yeah. So when we're talking about these visions, one of yours was having, like you said, the flexibility in the work-life balance. So how did you build that into your company?
So I'm big on boundaries. So you people know, don't call my phone after this. I'm appointments only. I'm like probably people in the industry, they probably already know me because people that meet me and I'm very, again, I'm direct. I let people know, I let clients know, even with the white glove service. I'm white glove service, but that don't mean I'm your personal admin or secretary. Like you can't call me on all types of night. Like I had a
Yeah.
client that was like, my robe wasn't in my room. The concierge, like we nipped all of that in the bud. So quickly I already like when I first, even when I was doing Fun and Sun, I had boundaries of. I used to talk to my one friend. She's not in the business anymore. She does life coaching now, but she had 300 something clients. I'm like, what? And she was sending them email after email. I said, why are you doing that? When this is the thing, when you book a hotel on Marriott, do they see a reminder? This is and that? No. And then if you don't cancel, guess what? You just get charged that first night deposit. They don't say reminder if you're gonna book, you better do it today because your money's gonna be forfeit. Like I don't understand that small business owners, why sometimes we don't apply the same things that Fortune 500 business. Like when you go to the doctor, you don't get to go, I want Friday at 6 p.m. They don't
Mhm.
operate Friday at 6. Matter of fact, you can't even tell them Friday at 1. They're like, our first available appointment is at the 28th at 3.
Yep.
You got to take it, right? And then guess what? You don't say while you're on the phone, I need to talk to the doctor. No, you schedule an appointment. Then you show up and then you got to wait on the doctor. But people continually go to the doctor, right? They don't just say, I'm going to stop going. So why in our business, we think because someone couldn't take a call in our hours that we set aside for a reason, that we should just bend it and be like, I can do it on Saturday at 8 p.m., knowing your little girl has a soccer game. You know what I mean? Like you're coming from a soccer game, y'all gonna go eat pizza like y'all do every, like, why would I do that?
Mhm.
So I was very big on boundaries and setting up that from the get-go. And I also was one that was like, if I have to lose the business, I have to lose the business. Because I
Yep.
also believe there's 7 billion people in the world. And so when one leaves, one enters. They weren't the
Mhm.
right people for me. Yeah.
And then one of the things you do too is on Fridays you do what you call like your harder tasks and then
Yeah. So, guys, I do theme days. I
it's a
don't
little more.
necessarily do time blocking, but Mondays are team days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, call work. Friday, self care Fridays, but I do it backwards. So, I'm not just taking a day off, but I do all my book. I have a bookkeeper and I do all the receipts. So, if you're traveling, you know how you have to upload the receipts, or I'll go through my Excel spreadsheet looking at accounting or forecasting, all that sales and finance, the stuff that I wanted to skip in business school that they made me take, like accounting and econ. I was just there for the marketing, but you got to take it to get the degree. So I do that on Fridays, and then I end with either a massage or my nails done, or calling my friend and being chatty Cathy, or going to lunch or dinner. But it's really like a free day. Again, I do the financial stuff. I'll set up my week for the, so I'll look at my calendar for following week and be like, what cost can I get out of? That was my whole thing this year. I used to
Mhm.
look at my calendar and be like, why am I taking this call? Why am I doing that? I don't need to do this. I don't need to. Oh, Ashley can do this, or such can do this, or this can be an email. I don't need to schedule a call for that. So, like, I'm prepping for the week and what is important. What are my 3 main focuses for the week? And then I'm just chilling out, relaxing, self care, listening
Nice.
to
Nice.
podcasts, yes, enjoying life.
What do you wish people would have told you that you would have known before you got started in travel that you wish someone would have told you?
If you build it, they will come. Lies straight from the devil. You can build it, you can put a bow on it, you can wrap it up, send it
Right.
to the house, drop it off. You can make it look good. You can say all the things, and you still gonna be sitting here chirp, chirp, chirp. That's what you can hear birds. Like it's not as easy as people think. Yeah. So I think not that I thought business owner was you. This is the thing. Things it's just like now social media, which is why I have a love hate relationship. It's because you'll see
Mhm.
people in their traveling world, this and that, but you don't know they're broke. You don't know they ain't making any money. You're thinking like, oh, this is easy. Okay, all I got to do is this and that, and then you start doing it, and then you're like, this is a disconnect because only people only show you highlights. They're not
Yeah.
showing you when they're up at night. I've been up at night plenty of times. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this. Or now that I have a team, like I'm not gonna get paid. Or freaking out, like, what if nobody wants this or no one does this curator? I gotta sell this many spots. Like they don't get on Instagram and talk about that. They just talk about, girl, my trip is sold out and you missed out and we are traveling the world. And then when you
Yep.
start talking about numbers, they're like, huh? So I
No
wish
one wants to share that.
Yeah. So I wish somebody would tell me, like, no, Courtney, you actually need to stay in fundraising because you're gonna get paid doing that. And if you don't know your numbers and like really have it drilled down, then you're not gonna do it. Because this is the thing, travel is an expensive hobby. So if you're running your business like a hobby, it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much
It's
so. Yeah.
not as much freebies and perks like people say that it is. Like, oh, you go here and stay free and you do this. And again, the stuff that is free is like the stuff I can pay on my own, if that makes sense. Like some of y'all, I'm like, I can go there on my own. Like you get caught up in this is a fun industry. It's nice, it's sexy. It's like my husband's industry, sports. Oh, he's
Mhm.
a basketball coach. Yeah, until somebody gets on Twitter and says fire him, and you got
And you
to
have to
raise all
move
this.
every 2
You
years.
got to move every year. Yeah, and it's fundraising, and you got to coach, and you got to keep 17 and 18, 19 year olds without getting in trouble and put the ball in the basket. Who would want that job? But no one talks about it. That's such a cool job. And the same thing with my job. That's such a good job. You get to travel. Oh, I wish I could do that. And half your job, like more than half your job, has nothing to do with travel.
Yep. Yeah, it's running a business, and there's a reason that there's a really high failure rate for businesses. It's because it's
Mhm.
really hard, especially in the beginning. If you're a 10-year-old business, like HAR is sitting much prettier now. We've built and established ourselves, but the beginning is really tough.
Yeah, you don't know what works either. You're literally just I've been trying to just enjoy the process because again, it'll be 6 years in June full time, but 7 years altogether. But like
Mhm.
what works yesterday might not work tomorrow. That's another thing. And no one has the secret roadmap to success. The way someone else did it versus someone else can look totally different. So you can't even model someone and get the same results because what worked
Yeah.
5 years ago might not work, or depending on your territory. Like that's another thing. There's not a no one could tell me like how to get it done, and I'm very like process and goal. And oh, if you tell me the steps, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna get the same. No, that's not owning a business. So it's
Yeah, that's why I love these interviews is and because we take them from all sorts of different advisors from
mhm,
different corners of the world and you can pull like what works for you and what speaks to you because even if say you're in the exact same location, you're doing the exact same steps of a person, you are not that person and that's at the heart of the matter is no one else is you and so don't try to be someone else. You
no,
gotta be you, and you gotta make your business that works for you, and authenticity is what's gonna help you be successful,
totally.
not trying to be someone else. Let's see. We're gonna move into our last segment, which is our indispensable segment, and that's where we ask you what technology, book, or person has been indispensable to the growth of your agency and why. I know you gave us a huge list earlier, but is
Oh,
there one that sticks out?
oh man, I feel like I might have said one before, but then I said now I feel like there's so many. Okay, one person, one. I
You
can't say
gotta
it.
do one, Courtney. Just one.
In my business.
Yes.
I'm gonna say my grand has nothing to do in the travel industry
I love
because this
that.
is what she did was she gave me principles. You
Mhm.
know, I know everybody's not religious, but it's like the Bible. It's principle, like you utilize in your life. And so she was the blueprint. If there was a blueprint, whether it's how you treat people when building relationships, and even about saving and spending and like when to invest, all that wise wisdom that kind of fuels me every day. My personality, like going after what you want, being confident, because I was tall. A lot of tall girls, they're not confident, especially when they're kids, because they don't want to be tall. And I was always like, stand up straight and I'm smart and this and that. And so even in my business, a lot
Yeah.
of sales is your confidence and being able to step out and take risks when it's not time. And again, when you have a team, also the empathy card. I know me and my husband were talking to the bed the other night. He's like, "Ooh, I could be hateful. Like I could." And then he even said, "He's your grandma would say." Now I know how Courtney can get sometimes. Just thinking about things that she shared with me and in her mind and that I've taken into my business were principles of raising the child. Like my mom died when I was 8 months, so she was like my mom. So just things that I took with her that I've been able to apply, like when to let something go, when to let someone go, when they no longer serve you. Like that Maya Angelou saying, like when people show you who they are the first time, believe them.
Yep.
My grandma could have written a book on that. So like I would say that it has nothing because I've given you tons of like books and people that I've worked with that are killing it. Brooke Olson with the systems that she's dope. Tatiana with teams, mindset, Jen, money, Serena. But like just overall is my grand. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because building that foundation of
Mhm.
confidence, because it does take confidence to be a business owner if you're doubting yourself all the time. That's not a great base to build off of. And I also like the financial smarts because you really do have to know finances to be a good business owner. I have seen business owners that are terrible at finance. I just have to share this. The other day I was on a call with someone and they're like, I can't make ends meet at my agency stuff. And I'm chatting with them and I'm like, you should be able to make ends meet. Like the numbers you're telling me and the
Right.
expenses, like this should go. And I was really confused and they were adamant they could not make ends meet and that this was not a sustainable business model. And I was like, okay. And then I was chatting with someone else that works with them and they were like, well, she pays herself a $500,000 for her salary. And I was like, she conveniently left that out.
Right.
And I wish I would have known that because that's the issue. Like,
Correct. Yeah. But it's that type stuff that people don't, or even now that you are making money, what do you do with that money?
hmm
You know what I mean? Oh, is that going? I always tell people like my business is just, I can sell my business tomorrow. They're like, what? Oh, it's not my baby. I don't have children. I use my business as an asset. Me and my husband have overall goals. He has his job. This is my business. We have property. There's several different eggs or drops that like in the bucket that make up our complete thing. So this is just one feed, one stream that goes into the bigger picture. I don't look at this as the big picture. I have a whole life, a whole like we have a whole future and family. This just plays into what are all the goals and the dreams that we have as one, if that makes sense.
It totally does. And I think that's also wise words for entrepreneurs because it's very easy as an entrepreneur to have your whole self and being be tied up into your company, which in some ways is very beautiful, but also it's also just a company. And at some point, you're going to have to let the company go, sell it, or something along those lines. And then, so it's important to nurture outside of your business as well
Totally.
as, yeah, find it,
It's
have a self outside your business. That's super important. Courtney, thank you so much for all the inspiration and fun today during the episode.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna say something else. I'm like, okay, no, I appreciate it. I'm a chatty Cathy, so I could stay on for longer, but I know we've got to let the people take a breather.
We do have to let the people take a breather, but and thank all of you for tuning in today. Just a reminder, don't forget the survey is coming out, so keep an eye out, or you can follow the link in the show notes to get to the reminders. Again, you can go to hostagencyreviews.com/TAC, click on episode 29. And if you've got time before we close things out, we would love, love, love if you're watching on YouTube, give this a like. Or if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, give it a review or a rating. So we will be back with another advisor story in I can't believe it'll be Q3. Q3. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Courtney, and have a wonderful rest of your day. You can read a transcript, view the show notes, and watch a video of today's episode all in one place. Head on over to hostagencyreviews.com/TAC and click on episode 29. You'll also find some great pictures of Courtney on her travels and within her life in the transcript. We'll see you there.